Joining us now is Jeff Crouere, broadcaster and commentator. Jeff, great to see you. A bit to unpack there, but first of all, can I get your reaction to those pathetic protesting in New York City now that Stephen Colbert's show has been axed?
I love that one of them was wearing a mask. I thought that was so priceless because, Colbert was the one that was trying to promote the vaccine, and he was the guy constantly saying that we had to mask up. And, he was always pushing the whole narrative that the Biden administration wanted. I mean, as you said, he's only had one Republican guest. I mean, he's just such a tool of the Democrat Party. And that's why these Democrat politicians are so upset. But a study was done of Jay Leno when he was on the air 22 years. And of all the jokes that he did, half of them were Republican and half of them were Democrat, which is why he led in the ratings for 19 years. Now, all of these hosts are just one-sided. All they do is attack Donald Trump and the Republicans. So they say, we don't even want half of America. And that's why I think their ratings are so poor. I mean, Stephen Colbert has less than 1/3 of the audience that Johnny Carson had back in his heyday.
Yeah, no, it's an important point. Look, what do you make of the major networks now mainly ignoring these new revelations released by Tulsi Gabbard? She's, revealed new evidence that the Obama administration manufactured intelligence to essentially push the Russiagate hoax. Are you surprised that now the mainstream networks don't really want to cover these developments?
Well, the mainstream news media just wants to talk about Epstein because they believe that's a way to really topple Donald Trump. I mean, it's all Epstein all the time. And anything that, of course, points a finger at Obama and the setup and the whole Russian collusion narrative, they're not going to touch. I mean, they didn't do it back in 2016 or 17. They're not going to do it now, even though the evidence is overwhelming that there was collusion, not between Donald Trump and the Russians, but between the deep state and Hillary and Obama to try to, of course, subvert Donald Trump's presidency. It was an attack on the people that voted for Donald Trump. They tried to limit his effectiveness, and they really harassed him during the entire first term with all of this nonsense. Now he's learned. He's really surrounding himself with a lot of people that are loyalists that are going to help him with his agenda. So his second term is a lot stronger because he doesn't have this kind of thing hanging over his head.
Let's turn to another issue that's hardly being covered by the mainstream media, and that is the Cincinnati Police Department has now launched an investigation after a group of thugs were filmed beating a man and a woman to the ground. Authorities have charged at least 5 suspects after that violent attack that took place in downtown Cincinnati. Jeff, it's horrific. Why is this not getting the coverage that it deserves?
It's sad. It really should. And I have to say, it could very well be a hate crime. It could be racially motivated. The victims were white. The attackers were black. This is absolutely tragic. You know what's really the worst part about it? You had 100 people that were around. You had people filming. You had people yelling and screaming and chanting and encouraging the attackers. Only one person out of all of those folks called 911. And that just is a real sad indictment of what is going on in some of our cities in the United States. And it's a real challenge for the leaders there in Cincinnati to deal with it. And of course, Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, is looking into it as a potential hate crime.
An EasyJet flight from London to Glasgow was forced to make an emergency landing after a passenger began shouting "Death to Trump and America." Footage of the incident has gone viral online. Let's take a look.
Going to bomb the plane! Death to America! Death to Trump! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Oh my God. You got sit down. Don't move.
The 42-year-old suspect has been arrested and is now under investigation by counter-terrorism officials. But Jeff, can I get your reaction to this?
Well, I mean, when I fly, I don't want to be encountering someone like that. I mean, that's another person that has, Trump derangement syndrome. And we see it all over this country. And obviously it's a problem really all over the world. And, Yeah, it's really, it brings back memories of 9/11, really. And it makes us worry about, the threats that are out there and the people that really do want to do harm in the name of whatever, whether it's free Palestine, whether it's the Iranians, whatever kind of cause they may have. So we've always got to be vigilant, always got to be making sure that we protect our travelers and people that are just trying to get from one place to another. But let's just say that's very disturbing. We've had a number of incidents of people yelling free Palestine going on attacks here in this country in recent weeks.
I want to turn to the Epstein files. Look, I know that plenty in the mainstream media are starting to put all the attention on the Epstein files if it can somehow damage Donald Trump. But I do want more transparency around this. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell has answered questions from Justice Department officials about 100 different people potentially linked to Jeffrey Epstein, and she was reportedly granted immunity. And the president was asked about this today.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it, but right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it.
I think there still is a lot of frustration out there that there are potentially powerful people that should be behind bars. Do you think we're any closer to ever seeing that?
I think we're closer because you had the meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. Supposedly, we're still pushing for grand jury materials to be released in New York. I know the judge in Florida denied it. You're going to have Congress address this when they come back from their recess. You're going to have more action on this. And I do think the Trump Justice Department will do more. I agree with you. I mean, I think this is a case that we need more transparency. We need to have same standard of justice for everyone. If you're rich and powerful, you should not be able to get away with horrific crimes against young women. And I, for one, do not want to see Ghislaine Maxwell given a pardon. She was a partner in this criminal enterprise. She recruited the young women for Jeffrey Epstein. The victims in this case do not want to see her pardoned. And I really don't either. I think she's where she deserves to be, and that is in prison.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. Let's talk about the Democrats. Their approval rating has plunged to a 35-year low. Now, 63% of registered voters view Democrats unfavourably, which is dramatically marking the lowest rating since 1990. This is according to a Wall Street Journal survey. And that abysmal rating for the Democrats, of course, comes against the backdrop of also lacklustre figures for Donald Trump and Republicans. Trump's approval rating sits at 46%. But although his approval rating is not great, the Democrats are faring far worse. What do you put this down to?
No leadership, no message, no vision. They're really lost. I mean, all they have is Trump hate. I mean, that's all they really do is just, talk about how much they can't stand Donald Trump. But they're not really giving Americans any answers about the problems that we have as a country. And remember, the 12 out of the last 16 years we had Democrat presidents, and Trump is coming along and getting a lot of things done. And I think the American people see a contrast. So why would they want to go back to the Democrats? I really think they need new leaders. They need a new message. And sadly, what we're seeing among Zohran Mamdani and so many is just a further to the left, more socialism. And I don't think that is going to be the answer for the Democrats. If the Democrats have any hope, they need to move back to the center. And that's not where the party is going right now.
Yeah, no, that would be good to see. We can only hope. Jeff Crouere, broadcaster and commentator, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.